One of the most common questions that I get asked by people that are new to or unfamiliar with the reverse logistics liquidation industry is, what's the best kind of freight? And they expect an answer that is just a single category. Like they expect me to say consumer electronics or sporting goods or what have you. Go get that. That's the best kind of freight. But in reality, there is no such thing as the best kind of freight or the best freight. There's really only the best freight for you and your business model. Let me give you two examples, right? I'll give you the example of that we went through here at RL Liquidators when we first started. The only thing we could afford at the time, because we didn't have a whole lot of money, it was just me and my business partner, was the freight that nobody else wanted. So we were buying everybody else's rejects, right? The freight that nobody else wanted to buy, we would go and buy. Essentially, we were buying the garbage and selling the garbage. But that had some surprising benefits, right? Not the least of which being we could get it for almost nothing and then sell it for just a fraction of its retail value and still have enough profit left over to reinvest and go buy more freight. So even though it was the freight that nobody else wanted, at the time it was the best freight for us because it allowed us to build a business and a business model around the freight that nobody else wanted. And the better we got at selling that freight, the more we could recover for it, the more profit we could make, and the more we could go after more freight. So for us at the moment, that was our best kind of freight, right? Now, a lot of people will kind of take the opposite route, right? And they'll say, well, you should go after things like consumer electronics or baby products or pet products, things that everybody wants and everybody uses and everybody needs every day. Well, the only problem with that is, yeah, everybody wants it, but everybody also wants to sell it. So the competition in the marketplace for that kind of inventory is fierce, and that drives the price of that inventory up exceptionally high. And that means that you have to have some sales channels on the other side that are so effective that you can get almost full retail value. Otherwise, you're never going to make your money back, never going to make any profit, and you're not going to be able to reinvest and to grow. So the more you get into trying to find freight that everybody else wants, the more it's going to cost you, the lower your margins are going to be, and the more difficult it is going to be to grow a business on that. So for us, the best kind of freight has always been the freight that nobody else wants, because I can get it really, really cheap. Now, that does leave us with some problems, right? Let me give you an example of a couple of those problems. The first sales channel that we had that we owned was called bidrl.com. And that's an online auction marketplace. We still have it. It's doing remarkably well. And we would sell everything through that one sales channel. Doesn't matter what it was. High value, low value, big, giant, bulky items, deep skewed items, right? Items we have a ton of. Everything would go through bidrl.com. And while everything sold, and on average, we had a good profit, so much so that we were able to continue to grow that business, we did learn that there were some categories that just did not do well, right? One category in particular is the low value inventory. It costs us a certain amount of money to produce a single lot in that auction. And the low value inventory often sells for less than it cost us to produce, which means every item we would sell that way, we would lose money on. Now, it was a good way of getting rid of it, right? We had to get rid of the inventory. We couldn't keep it or it would just bottleneck everything up. But we were getting rid of the inventory at a loss. We had a problem. So we thought, how can we solve that problem? We traveled the country and looked at other people's business ideas, and we came up with the idea of a bin store, right? Well, what if we had a store where the prices fall every single day and everything in the store sells every week? That could be a great solution for our low value items. And that's where Falling Prices was born, right? That's our bin store concept. The store opens on Tuesday. Everything in the store is $6. On Wednesday, everything's $4. Thursday, everything's $2. Friday, everything's $1. And Saturday, everything's only 25 cents. Everything disappears in the store every week. Now we take all those low value items that we were losing money on the auction, and now all of a sudden we're making money on them in the Falling Prices bin store. So what was kind of the worst kind of freight for us all of a sudden became the best kind of freight for us because we were able to solve that problem. So in answering the question, what's the best kind of freight, you've got to go back to your business model and say, what is it that I do, right? What do I sell? Where do I sell it? How do I sell it? How much can I recover it for? Once you know that, you know what you can buy it for. And if you can't sell it for enough, well, then you just got to stop and think, what can I do to improve what I'm doing, or perhaps change or adopt a new business model so that I can increase what I'm selling it for. Now, this process can take some time, right? It's taken us years to develop the business models that we have and refine them to the point that now we can sell anything. So, if somebody asks me what's the best kind of freight for me, well, it's any freight, right? And anything works well for me, so it's all the best for me. But we didn't start that way. And so if you're new to the liquidation industry and you're trying to figure out what's the best freight for you, my response to that would be, what's available, right? What can you get? What can you get at a price that's low enough that you think that you can sell it and make a profit? And just pick something and start, right? Give it a try. It'll take a little while to develop your sales channels. And as time goes on, you will be able to come across different types of freight that you can also try. And over time, you will find out what is the best freight for you.